Hello world! Hi, this is Mike White with Baby Monkey Studios. I'm going to be doing a series of XCart tutorials, and I know it's been done before, but I'm not certain that it's been done very well. And I'd like to, do my best at it and see if I can improve that and help new, XCarters or just people that might even be new to the web and e-commerce in general. Just kind of have a jump start and learn some of the things that I already know. Now, a little bit about me. I'm a PHP programmer. I'm 31 years old. I'm based in Louisville, Kentucky in the United States. I have been working with PHP for about 7 years. And with XCart, most of that time. I'm not sure if it's 5. I'm pretty sure I'm going on 6 years now. I think it's a wonderful platform, and I use it for everything. And all that time I've developed with it pretty much exclusively, though I've got some experience with some other applications out there. XCart's just my baby, and I've always loved it, and I continue to use it, and I plan on using it for years into the future. So let's get started. The topic of this tutorial is absolute versus relative linking in XCart. It's kind of a boring subject, but I thought it'd be a good starting place for all of us. Not many people even understand the difference between an absolute and a relative link. Also, relative path, as Google is telling me here. But, basically, what an absolute link is, as it says here, it refers to a specific location. Say if I was going to type in the full link, like http://xcart.com, I can put this link anywhere, and it's going to work. I can put it on another website. I can put it on the xcart.com website. Anywhere I use this link, it's an absolute link, and so it's going to work. Now, a relative link is relative to the location that you're at. So like an example of a relative link might be, say, /cart.php. What this would do is this would go to the root of the site and then look up a page called cart.php. Now, that would be good if my store was, installed right at the root of my site. And what I mean by the root is, for instance, http://trainingpin.com is a test site that I use. And the root of the site is right here. It's after the slash. So if I was to navigate to http://trainingpin.com just like this, then I would go to the root of the site. Okay? Now, some of you are going to have your XCart store not at the root. It's going to be at, like, say, for instance, /xcart. Okay? And, so then everything in your XCart store is going to be underneath this /xcart directory. And, for you experienced guys out there, I apologize, but some people really don't understand directory structure. But it's so simple. It's just like a folder on your desktop. You make a folder there and you call it XCart. And then inside that folder, you make another folder and you call it, say, /images. And so, now inside that folder, if you store images, then if you want to get to those images, you're going to need to go to xcart/images/ your image name. And that's really important to understand. Okay, so let's get going and get on to the meat. I'm going to pull up my test website, and I regularly refresh my installation here, and try to keep an update copy of XCart for my just testing and evaluation purposes. Look, I recently developed this baby banners mod, and the first place that I tested it at was my training pin site. I recommend a dev site for everybody that uses XCart. Whether it's a dev copy of the default stock version of XCart, which I suggest you play with, or if it's your customized actual dev copy of your live store, which I always will tell you to make all changes to your live store first on a dev copy to see what happens. Okay, so let's go to the speed bar. I think let's go to the front end of the site. I'm going to open this in a new tab. The speed bar are these links right up here. And you all have, I believe, these three links when you default install Xcart. I don't think I've changed them here. And one of the links is the shopping cart. Now, if I hover over it, it tells me down in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen that I'm going to go to trainingpin.com/cart.php. Let's look at the speed bar here. There's the link, cart.php. I'm going to make this a little bigger. Okay, so we've got the shopping cart as the name and cart.php is the link, as the URL, which is the link. It's also the href. That's what's going to show up in the anchor tag that Xcart's going to write for you as the href. And if I add a link, it has it defaulting here to trainingpin.com. Now, what I'm going to tell you is, what kind of link might I want to be adding? I want to add, say, a static page. Okay. Let's get a real-world scenario going here. So let's go to the static pages. I've got this static page about our site. And I want to link that in the speed bar. I'm going to rename it maybe. Let's call it About Us. And, people get confused by this. This is the page file. And it says .html, and I think that's what's confusing possibly. This is simply the file that's going to be stored on the server and store the content of the About Us page right here. So, when you create one of these static pages, it creates a record in the database for this page, but it also stores the site content at this, this URL that they're showing you here. Okay. Now, we've got this About Us link. And what I'm going to show you here is right here. This is pages.php page ID 2. Okay? I hope you can see that just fine up there. But basically, this page is static page ID equals 2. Okay? Now I could link to this page many different ways. If I have clean URLs turned on, then I'm going to have the clean URL About Us right here. And so theoretically, I could go to trainingpin.com/aboutus.html and get to this page. Okay, so let's try that. Let's see if I do have clean URLs enabled. I actually paused the recording and went and enabled them real fast, just so I could show you this. And let's just try going to aboutus.html. And, well, obviously I haven't registered this installation. I don't see any reason to pay for a site that I'm just testing. But hopefully the guys at Quality Team don't mind. Thanks, guys. Anyway, what we have here is about our site, and that's all the content for that page. But this is the About Us page, and you can see up in the URL, hopefully it's not too small, but it says about-us.html. Okay, so we can link to that just like this. I'm going to copy that link. I just highlighted everything and hit Control-C. And I'm going to go over here to my speed bar. I'm a little clumsy when it's this big. I've just got it big for you guys. And we're going to add a link, position 40, About Us. And I'm just going to paste in that link that I copied. Okay. Now there is nothing wrong with this. Absolutely nothing wrong. I'm being nitpicky talking about relative and absolute links, but there are reasons for this, and I'll show you, and I'll explain them at least. Now I'm going to go back to the front page and refresh, and look, we got our nifty little About Us link, and clicking it works, and we're already on that page, so it didn't seem to take us anywhere. But if we're at the home page, we click About Us, we go to our link. It's no problem. Okay. Now, why is this bad? Why is using this absolute URL bad? It's not necessarily. Your customers will not experience any ill effects by using this absolute URL. Really, it's more for your maintenance and your time and trouble. that I wanted to teach you about this. Because if we were to move this site now, say to a backup directory or to a subdomain, we're going to move it to dev.trainingpen.com, the whole store, because we want to make tests. We want to edit our store without changing our live site. Now, if we do that, when we click this link as we are navigating our newly copied site, it's going to take us back to the live store, and maybe without us even realizing it. So, it's going to be really confusing for us if we ever try to move the store. If our domain name changed for whatever reason, I know you got to be saying, well, why would that ever happen? Well, it could be that you just want to put it at an IP address temporarily on a new host when you're moving your site to a new host. You've outgrown your current site, you've realized that they're not a great site, company to be working with, and you move to a new host, and now you've changed your store's URL to your new IP address. And you need to test it. You need to get it up and running before you make the transfer. Well, you're not going to be able to test it easily if you've used absolute links all over your site. It's going to be a huge mess. Okay, so now let's see how we could rewrite this and have it be proper. Let's go back to our static pages. I'm going to open it in a new tab. Keep my tabs organized there. And here's our About Us page. Now, when we go to it, we can see in the URL, it's pages.php, page ID equals 2. Okay? Now, we're in the, I clicked something wrong there. We're in the admin directory right now. So, when we go to admin, pages.php, page ID equals 2, then we're going to edit the page. A user that navigates to pages.php, page ID equals 2, is going to actually go to the real page. So look, I'm just going to copy that. Copy, Control C, and go over here and drop that in as the link instead. Okay? Update. Now let's go to the front, and I'm going to go to the home page and refresh it just to make sure, because I always like to refresh. And when I hover over the link, it's rewritten it. It's probably too small for you to see, but down in this bottom left corner, it's actually rewritten the URL to trainingpen.com/aboutus.html. So it's not showing the pages.php gobbledygook that we put in. It's showing a clean URL. And it's not just showing, the one we typed in, which I think if you remember, I typed in About Us lowercase. And you probably can't see this, but it's telling me now, well, here, I click through to it. It is now About Us uppercase. Small difference. What's it mean? Well, for one, if Xcard is writing these links for you, it's going to do the same thing every time. That's the beauty of code. That's the beauty of PHP. Is this same thing happens every single time. And so whenever you use the pages.php, page ID equals 2, Xcard is going to look and find out what the proper clean URL is for that from its, in the database, and rewrite all the links on the site to meet that format. So now we're showing Google or even potential visitors, just everyone, a clean front. We're showing them all the same thing. And that's going to improve our search engine rankings. Plus, it's going to keep our site consistent. So if we wanted to change what the clean URL was, all we do is we go and change the clean URL on the actual static page. I'll show you how to do that. It's right here, clean URL. We change it to About Our Sites, because we decide that we want to retitle this page. Okay, let's update. Bear with me. This is going to be, they don't like my format. Look at that. Glad I made that mistake. What's wrong here? I left a space. I could use underscores. Maybe you like underscores better. I don't think Google cares one way or the other. Okay, so there we go. Now let's look back at our About Us page, and I'm going to refresh this page, and you'll see. I don't know if you can see, it's so small, but it's rewritten the URL to aboutoursite.html, and my speed bar link is aboutoursite.html now, and I click it. It takes me to the right place. I didn't have to change the speed bar. You know, I haven't had to go back to the speed bar and change what I typed in here just because I changed the clean URL of the page. Hopefully you can see how, you know, advantageous that is. You know, anywhere that we link to the About Us page throughout the site, and I mean on other static pages, hard-coded into templates, you know, and anywhere. We put this pages.php page ID equals 2. You know, maybe one place where you might want to put an absolute link is in a hard encoded URL that's going out in an email, for instance, to your customers. There's a good place for an absolute link. Again, you know, you're running the risk, unless you always keep that page in the clean URL history, of that link going dead. See, I'm trying to avoid dead links. That's number one. I mean, they just build up over time. 2, I'm trying to keep your site where it's mobile, and you can move it from domain to domain, and everything's just going to work. You know, we can't have this stuff, everything on the site break just because we moved it to a new IP address. Okay. Okay, now let's take this to the next level. You know, some of you are already over this, but let's go on and make sure everybody understands. Let's think about this in terms of the product page. You know, let's look at, let's see, I've gone ahead and paused the recording and disabled my clean URLs, okay? Just so that you can see, you know, I went to the general settings and then SEO and disabled clean URLs, okay? And I've pulled up this product page right here. And right up at the top, you can see what the product ID is. It's 76. It's right in the URL, okay? You know, I don't know where else you can see that product ID. I actually think that's a flaw. I think that we should be, you know, Xcart should be letting us see the product ID right on this page, as opposed to just in the URL, because some browsers are starting to truncate those results up there. You know, I think like Safari does that, and you don't even see the full URL. So anyway, I'm off that. Now, if you go down here with clean URLs turned off, you can see that the link is product.php question mark product ID equals 76. Okay, I'm just going to copy that. Okay, now if I wanted the app, let's copy the whole thing. Okay. Now I'm going back to my About Our Site page, and I'm going to put a link in this About Our Site. You know, let's say all we sell is this one cool product. Ooh, my goodness. Yeah, not iOS. And then I'm going to put a link. Okay, href equals, pardon my slow typing, you think I'd be a better typist after all this time. And that is the link that we pulled off of the, you know, with clean URLs turned off. I'm going to shorten it to just product.php question mark product ID equals 76. Okay? And close it off. Cool product. Put my little slash A. Okay. Now let's save changes. And let's go to our About Our Site page and refresh. Oh, I can't find it. That's hilarious. You know, I'm going to leave all these little mistakes in here so you can learn from those as well. Enable clean URLs. Boom. I'm sure some of you all knew that I was about to make that mistake. Refresh. Still can't find it. Okay. About Us. Now it's working. About our site, always sell us this one cool product. Cool product. Now, if I hover over it, guess what it's done? Bach-s-Goldberg variations.html is what it's telling me I'm going to go to. Let's look at that and inspect that element. Right here, I don't know if you can see this again because it's so small. I'll get better at zooming in and stuff as time goes on with these tutorials. But what it has is it's actually rewritten the URL in its entirety. See, you know, absolute URLs are good for SEO. They're not good for us to embed in our code and for us to use even in our internal linking, but they're good for SEO. And a well-programmed SEO module, which, you know, Xcart's default clean URLs is pretty impressive, rewrites that and includes the absolute URL in place of your, I don't know what to call that, but your relative URL. Yeah, that's what it is. But it's also not just relative. It's almost, it's a dynamic URL as well, because, you know, we're not putting in Bach-s-Goldberg variations.html. We're putting in product.php as the link. You know, what do we put there? Product ID equals 76, the little question mark. Okay. Now, if I follow that link, obviously it's going to work. And I can use this link, I can use that format anywhere. I mean, I can put it in the speed bar, product.php. I can embed it in a template, which we're going to do that in just a second. And throughout the site, wherever I've linked to this product page, the Clean URLs module is going to rewrite my relative path to an absolute path. And again, when I move to another server and I'm testing on another IP address, or I've built a dev's copy of my store and a hidden directory on my site, it's all going to work. It's not going to, you know, redirect you back to your other store. Okay. Okay, I've got about one more thing to show you about this, you know, relative versus absolute linking, and we're going to take it to the templates. Obviously, I spent a lot of time with the templates. Now, you know, first of all, real quick, I want to just tell you that you should really never change the common files. I mean, there's just no reason to. You should set up your own template directory and make all your changes in your template directory. I highly recommend this. What that lets you do is you can always switch back to your default template and test whether, you know, your template changes are what's breaking the site, or if it's some PHP or database problem. But most often, it's a template that's causing the problem. And it's so nice, especially for me when I come in to work on somebody's site, to be able to, you know, just switch back to the common files directory and know that it's not been altered in any way. So, you know, with that, I'm going to go on in here and alter it. Like I said, this is not my important store. Now I'm going in here to common files. I'm going to look for customer main welcome.tpl, say. All right, so it's right on the home page. Okay, and oh look, there's that baby banner. So look, I gotta sneak that in there. Everybody's got their banner module. I've got mine. I call it baby banners, and it's really sweet, I think. Okay, so right down here, we've got Lang text welcome. Now don't let me confuse you. I'm just going to switch back over to. I'm going to close this page so I stop having all these windows open. Close that clean URLs page. I'm going to switch back over to that static page and just copy that link, because I've already got it typed in. I don't want to make you watch me type. Here we go. Okay. Now here in this template right here, here's the welcome text for the store. You know, when they land on the home page, it displays this welcome template, by default at least, and you have you know, your welcome text there. Okay, and then it shows like the featured products and stuff. Let's paste this link right in here into the template, okay? Now let's also, while we're back here, because we're going to test and make sure that it rewrites that and see that that works there. While we're back here, I'm going to show you another instance of relative versus absolute linking, and that's to do with images. Images cause all sorts of problems when they are absolute linked. For one, you may be, again, moving the server, and now, the images are pulling from the other site, and you don't have, you're not certain that everything is moved over and is coming from this new location, because the images, you may be confusing yourself, and the images are not moved over, and they're still showing up from the other site because you included the absolute path to the image. Now, another problem with images is, they're dependent on where, when you do a relative path to an image, it's dependent upon where that page is in the site. Okay, so say you're in the admin side, well, you're in the admin directory looking at the product modified.php page, and the image path is going to be different from that point on your website than, say, somebody on the front side of the cart that's browsing the customer side, because they're at the root of the site, for instance, or in the Xcart directory, and you are in the Xcart/admin directory, and so now the path is changed. And so this stuff does cause all manner of confusions. Now, with Xcart, we have and I think that the confusion is why a lot of people resort to absolute linking. But Xcart has got built in some wonderful tools for using relative linking right here, and I'll show you the one right here. First of all, we should be putting everything within our skin directory, and in this case, we're common files. We're using Xcart Light and Lucid 3-column, and so we're using the standard skin directory, and so my images directory is just images dir. Okay, and what am I going to link in here? Let's see. Let's use the default admin X logo. Okay, so there we go. And when you link an image, you always want to put the slash, because images don't have a closing tag. That's just a little HTML thing. So let's save that. And let's go to our storefront. And let's see if our stuff came through. Great, we got our two things. Here's our link that we put in. And it is rewriting properly. I can see it if you can. It's just bach-s-goldberg variations.html. And here is our LinkedIn image. Okay, so now you know how to do a relative link in Xcart. Let's see, there's one other little trick I wanted to show you. And that is how to use the $catalogs.customer. Xcart has all sorts of variables included by default. So say you just needed to get back to the home page, or maybe you've got some other custom page somewhere, and you want to get back to the home page. Well, you can just do ahref $. Catalogs.customer. And that should take us home, always. I'm going to put a little slash after it. Okay, and then, by the same token, we could link to this image right here using this catalogs customer. And after that, we would need /skin /common files /images in order to make that path. While I'm on this subject, I want to remind you, images that are absolute linked are going to cause HTTPS errors. So, like if you're in HTTP, in other words, your SSL is not kicked in and you're not secure, which is fine for normal browsing until somebody wants to enter some information like customer registration information. You're going to, if you absolute link with HTTP in the URL, an image, it's going to pop up warnings. You're going to get those. This site is not secure, or do you want some of the elements on this page are not secure. Warnings in different browsers. So that's a big reason to avoid absolute linking for images, especially. And also, you want to watch out for this with like JavaScripts or anything else that's going to be included to the page, like Flash. Okay, so let's save this and see if all these little changes just worked out for us. Refresh. Now remember, I tried to link this. I linked this with the. I'm going to inspect that element, see where it's coming from. But it's coming now from skin, common files, images, admin, xlogo.gif. Okay, and the link now points to the home page. So I click it, it's just going to take us right back here where we are. And remember, we just linked to that with $catalogs.customer. And this one, we did $images.dir to at first, and then we changed it and showed how you could link it with catalogs customer, both being absolute links. Now, if I pull this page up in HTTPS, I'm actually not sure what's going to happen, if it's going to redirect me to HTTP. Oh, okay. We don't have an SSL here. So, I'm sorry, I can't show you that. But I just don't have an SSL for this domain because, there's no point in it. It's just a test domain for me. Okay, well, believe it or not, I can still think of one more thing to tell you about absolute versus relative linking. And that's just if you're using a skin. And so what I'm going to do here is we're going to switch. We're going to go to Appearance, General Settings, and switch to Artistic Tunes Car Tires. Let's just pick that one. Okay. And so obviously if we go to the front of the site, we can tell that it's all changed. It's all going to change. Look, those are those baby banners I was talking about. Okay, and so I'm going to, I've inspected this element here, and here's the top image. I've got the link here for the top image 1.jpg, okay? And we're going to use that right here in this static page. Why not? Okay, so I'm going to call it just like we would before. Okay, except now, and this is the only difference, this is what I wanted to show you, I'm going to use alt images.dir. And I really think that if you follow all my advice, you're going to be using this more than images.dir, because we're going to put all of our changes in our own directory, and that's going to be definitely one of my next tutorials, is how to set up your own custom skin directory. That's what you really need to be doing, and never changing common files at all. And then we put everything in the alt images.dir, which would be the images folder of your chosen skin dir. And our chosen skin is Artistic Tunes. Okay, so and I've got on another page. I'm just looking at the directory structure of the sites, and Artistic Tunes Car Tires is the the directory that for this skin. So alt images.dir right now, with this selected, is going to be Artistic Tunes Car Tires /images. Okay, if you're not understanding everything, that's fine. But what this is going to let you do is, put all your images in this one directory, all your skin images, not product images, not category images, but anything that affects the skin and the design. And then when you want to change your site later on down the road, we can develop your whole skin. You can develop your whole skin in another folder with all new images and all new CSS and all new templates. And then when you're ready to switch, you can just pick it from this drop-down list. And it's a really easy way to roll out a new site design. And then, of course, if you have problems, you switch back, and you're not sitting there with a down site or a problem, which is what I'm all about avoiding. So what did I tell you we do? We were going to go over here and we're going to include this image, alt images.dir /images. Oh, we don't need that. We're already there. because we're at alt images dir. / custom top image 1. All right, let's save it. Let's see if it worked. Your company name, about us. And it didn't work. And I'll tell you why. Like I said, I'm going to leave in my mistakes so that you guys can see, you know, the stuff that I run into too. I mean, nobody can know everything. Look at this. Parse Smarty tags in the content of embedded pages. Boom. Update. And there's our image. See, this stuff, you know, it is confusing even for the best of us. But what happened there is that I had not checked that, and I usually do keep that checked, you know, to parse the Smarty tags. And that's what this is. This is a Smarty tag. And literally, it's just a PHP variable that's been assigned to Smarty. You know, when the PHP code executes on the server side, you know, you can assign all sorts of variables, and you know, you can tell it alt images dir equals whatever, and then when you want to assign, you assign that variable to Smarty, and that lets the templates be able to use that variable anywhere they want to. And this is a perfect example of what you would want to use a variable for, is a relative path like this as opposed to an absolute path. And now, you know, if we do a new site design and we put a new top underscore image1.jpg in a separate directory, well, we won't have to go back and change this on this page. We'll be able to just switch the skin, and it's going to pick up our new top image1.jpg in our new skin directory that we've just chosen. And we're not going to have to go through all our static pages and change all our links. I can't tell you how much time I spend when I'm upgrading sites, you know, going through and trying to remove absolute links to paths that just don't exist anymore or have changed because of the new site. So, guys, that's all I've got for you. I hope that, you know, this is very helpful and that I haven't rambled on too much. And, you know, if you guys need custom Xcart mods or services, be sure to check out my site and think of me. All right. Hope to see you soon. Good luck with your e-commerce.